you guys? Welcome to the April 21st edition of NBA 3-Ball presented by Established Run. I'm your host, Mike Gallagher, getting ready to break down the somewhat small Tuesday night, talk some news for a ridiculously loaded Wednesday slate, and we're going to do it in 10 minutes. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe, please. Going to start with this big piece of news I got on the screen. It is James Harden is out indefinitely after having a setback while doing some on-court work on Monday. This comes a day after Steve Nash said he's, quote, turning the corner on his rehab and kind of left the door open he could return soon, but nope. Also said today he could be out for the regular season, which, I mean, honestly, yeah, just keep him out. He hasn't had an issue with this hammy since his Thunder days. He had issues with the other hammy in Houston, but hamstrings are highly likely to be aggravated compared to other soft tissue injuries. So, yeah, I'll talk about how this affects the actual Nets that played tonight. But for now, I mean, if you have Harden, you're not feeling great. Maybe we start betting Nets again now that they maybe can come back. I think they can kind of just click because they're that good. But this is definitely a big piece of news for the playoff implications. Moving to the Pacers with a very big injury report. Obviously, we knew Miles Turner was out, but the big news today is Sabonis is listed as out with that back injury. Not good. Goga Bitadze also questionable with that ankle issue I mentioned in the last episode. Jeremy Lamb also questionable with that knee thing that's been bugging him. And Doug McDermott still playing through this ankle issue. Nate Bjorkgren pretty much sounded like McDermott's not even close to healthy. Other key quotes from Bjorkgren after last game said he wanted to play Goga a lot more. Also wanted to play Jakar Sampson a lot more. So if Goga can't go, Jakar is going to be looking at huge minutes in a dream matchup against OKC. So definitely keep that in mind. Also regarding O'Shea Brissett starting, who saw some 5 minutes, by the way, would probably see it again. He said he liked him in the starting lineup, said he was looking at a different mix, and said he talked to Justin Holiday about bringing him off the bench, said he may mix and match it. But, yeah, I mean, they'll probably start him again here. He's in a pretty decent spot if all these dudes can't go, especially Lamb and Doug McDermott. So O'Shea kind of out of nowhere on the board. Should also mention that small sample size, but as you'd expect, Malcolm Brogdon has pretty good splits without the big. So against OKC, man, I know we always dog Brogdon for no ceiling, but this is definitely a ceiling Malcolm Brogdon game. To Detroit, and their life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get with the injury report. We've got Killian Hayes out back-to-back. No Magruder, Dennis Smith Jr. doubtful as well. So you think Corey Joseph, who just got over bronchitis, which I'm surprised he's even off the injury report, he's been seeing 30 minutes a game lately. So, maybe he plays a lot. Want to make sure he starts, but decent matchup against the Mavericks. Certainly Saban Lee would also benefit. I do think that Joseph has a pretty good spot here. We know Frank Jackson's going to be kind of in the mix. Hamidou Diallo has been kind of in there as well. Josh Jackson playing pretty well. But Jeremy Grant really cuts into those guys. Saban Lee is really the only guy I trust of the whole group. And then Isaiah Stewart also takes a hit with Mason Plumlee back for this one. And Casey had a pretty good quote. He said Isaiah Stewart has his PhD, poor, hungry, and driven. And that made me smile. I liked it. Hawks get the win. Really great game from Clint Capella as usual. 19 boards, 14 points. Had 12 and 9 in the second quarter alone. And killing him on the glass has been a key for Nate McMillan. Also talked a lot about running more sets for Bogdan and Kevin Huerter, making Kevin Huerter more of a primary defender. He's been really good, getting minutes. Trae Young also really has stepped up his drives lately, looking like his old self. Big game against the Knicks. I think he has kind of a big night. Did wear glasses. Possible back-to-back rest risk. John Collins had a 16 to 20 minute cap in the last game. They broke it, and they also come up to 25 here. Keep an eye on him for the back-to-back. Magic dropped this one. Their offense just can't get it going. They're really asking Chumo Kiki to take some tough shots, and he's not making them yet, but 0 of 5 from 3. But confident, you like to see that. The defensive stats have shown up. Certainly feel good about him finishing. Thought Cole Anthony's played a lot better. Not the greatest matchup. The Hawks can be pretty stingy on defense at times. They've been struggling lately. And Dwayne Bacon, brutal game from him, getting the minutes. We'll see if that affects him on Thursday. But really no one challenging him for playing time, so I think he'll still get plenty of volume. Break up the New York Knickerbockers, 7 straight wins. Great bench output from Derrick Rose. As usual, he's been really good lately. Tibbs really talked him up 2 games ago. Manuel Quickley kind of was dead. Comes out here with 17 points off the bench. Really good output from him. Julius Randle, man, he has been on one lately. Didn't have a great game here, but he's been used like Jokic. He's getting like 6 minutes of touch time. His front court touches are hanging up way up there. His potential assists are really nice. Obviously coming up that player of the week. Gets the Hawks. Had a big game against them the last time, so kind of into Randall today if you do want to attack that game, which should be really contested, assuming everyone is playing for the Hawks. Great game from RJ Barrett as well. And yeah, Nerlens Noel kind of held his own defensively, starting to get his minutes locked and loaded. Hornets dropped this one. PJ Washington goes off in the first quarter, drops 5-3, 17 points to get him up to 26. Mentioned previously, man, he's in such a great spot this week. Certainly did not disappoint in the first game. Jalen McDaniels, pretty good game again, getting the minutes. Didn't have the threes today. Obviously, Miles Bridges is rolling. Vernon Carey starts, doesn't have any fouls, gets pulled. And that was it for 3 minutes. Grand opening, grand closing for him. Borrego said that he liked the momentum that was built from the PJ Washington at the 5 lineup and wanted to go smaller. Did squeeze in some Cody Zeller minutes as well, but yeah, I mean, if you were starting Vernon Carey, you could pretty much close the book on that one. Should also add Malik Monk was going through pregame work, not close yet, and also LaMelo was doing some wrist exercises in pregame, not close yet, certainly going to start to ramp up. I think next week's possible, as I said yesterday. Big win for the short-handed Nets. Obviously, Kyrie just took over late in this game. Tough shot after tough shot. 32 points for him, 8 assists. He's so freaking good. Joe Harris played great. Interestingly, Steve Nash said he talked to Joe Harris about resting, and Joe Harris shot it down. So that's pretty cool to hear this day and age. Landry Shamet, clearly the winner here. Nash has said multiple times he likes how he was kind of a point guard coming up through college. Certainly they like that multiple ball handler look. So Shamet's a guy that was borderline pickup. Now looks like a really good pickup. With this Harden news, we still don't know if KD will be back. KD certainly won't play him back-to-backs, you would assume. And yeah, other than that, Blake played great. Had some really good minutes late in this game. Certainly saw a lot of center minutes. Didn't really run Alizé Johnson out there too much as DeAndre Jordan got hot early, kind of faded. Jeff Green, pretty solid defensively early, but didn't have it really going too much offensively as far as efficiency goes. So the Pelicans here, Zion gets it going late, finishes with 33. Really nothing to say for the Stars. They're going to do what they do. The headline here was Eric Bledsoe gets benched for Najee Marshall after the game. Stan Van Gundy said it wasn't really like a punishment thing, just like Najee Marshall's effort off the bench. Bledsoe's been horrendous. Doesn't even deserve to start anymore. I feel like that's kind of like old news now. Marshall's certainly earning the playing time. We got some Jackson Hayes minutes with no James Johnson, but doesn't sound like he'll be out for very long. And, you really can't count on Hayes after 9 minutes anyways. Wolves get the win here. A lot of really good games. D'Lo was Fuego to start the game. Had 26 finishes with 28-0 in the second half. And also Anthony Edwards, Fuego started 16 points in the first quarter right off the bat. Shot the ball pretty well here. And yeah, he's shooting the ball pretty confidently. And his shot selection hasn't really altered too much. He's just making them. And I think he's starting to come around offensively. He's still really bad defensively. Talk about that in a second. But who cares about that in fantasy, right? The minutes are going to be there. Certainly not going to get pulled anymore, I don't think. But yeah, and also Karl Towns, as usual, puts up big numbers on Whiteside after he struggled against Holmes kind of earlier this month. Kings dropped this one. Great adjustment from Chris Finch, taking Ricky Rubio off Fox and putting Josh Okogie on him. And Josh Okogie was really good. Got really into Fox, didn't let him get downhill. Pretty impressive. Keep that in mind for tomorrow. Fox, went off in the last game against them, so I think that's really awesome. Mo Harkless, 20 points. Key here, Anthony Edwards guarded him, so I think he could have a repeat game. We saw Hassan Whiteside have an okay game. Chimezie Metu goes off for a career-high 16, so it might be close to an even split. They did run some small ball stuff as well. We saw a little bit of Terrence Davis and DeLon Wright, who got hot early. Last game, we saw Buddy Hield and Tyrese Halliburton lose closing minutes to those guys. Sounds like Walt may go to a hot hand approach, so kind of keep that in mind. The floors for all these guys could be really low. To the Clippers, big win for them. Paul George just rolling right now. And yeah, kind of did it by himself. Didn't really get much help from anybody else. We also have Kawhi Leonard is going to miss at least a week. So Terrence Mann started. Pretty inefficient game from him as far as stat output goes. Certainly expect better days from him. Nick Batum will benefit a little bit. Obviously, Marcus Morris should have way more usage going his way. So he's really the best pickup as far as like standards leagues go. But after that, I'd be looking at Mann. Luke Kennard certainly lost a little bit of mojo today. Pacers dropped this one, but the headline comes from Chris Haynes saying that Dame Lillard is expected to play today. Surprise. So, yeah, Norman Powell was awesome. I thought CJ McCollum struggled early, but finished off great. They surprisingly closed with those two guards, Rondé at the 5, Carmelo, and Nas Little. So, not great. And Rocco lost minutes there, but Dame coming back. I things may kind of come back to normal. But yeah, you don't really feel too good about that front court. Nurk will be back for a revenge game against Denver too. The ads page, yeah, Shamit's a pretty good ad right now. Najee Marshall for the reasons I mentioned. Didn't talk about Jaden McDaniels, who defended Harrison Barnes pretty well overall. Barnes kind of ate when he wasn't on him, I thought. And that was an issue the last time they played. So I think McDaniels plays a lot today. Gotta like to see that. Does only get one game after Wednesday, so that's something that you have to consider. Cole Anthony will play on Thursday. Certainly like him as a pickup for that light slate. Bruce Brown kind of next in line after Landry Shamet. Terrence Mann should play better without Kawhi. And Chimezie Metu, I think he deserves a little bit of a look. The guy could block shots. Pretty good permanent guy if he finds opportunity. This team could use another big man. We know Hassan Whiteside isn't going to get big minutes, so he's on the radar. That's it. Catch you tomorrow.